Today we have Lauren Francis on the podcast. She is an internationally acclaimed dating expert, best-selling author, and the founder of Lovescript Beauty. The media has referred to her as the man whisperer, the Flirt Fairy, and the doctor of love. If you're single or just want to spice up your marriage, currently dating online, or just having trouble deeply connecting, well, Lauren can help. And from what I hear, it is a different world when it comes to dating in 2024. So let's make some time and get some tips from Lauren Francis.
I am so excited to welcome my really great friend, Lauren Francis, to the Make Time podcast today. Lauren is an entrepreneur. She is a love coach. She's an author. And Lauren, thank you so much for joining the Make Time podcast. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for making time for me.
Yeah. So, Lauren, I know that you do so many fantastic things, but tell me, what is the most important thing you're making time for and why?
I love making time for people. That's really what I love making time for, and having heart-centered, authentic connections with my hot, hunky man and the people that aren't in my life, and also my clients. I get so moved. I just did a seminar where women flew in from around the world, and I love creating space and containers for people to have intimate, authentic, loving communication.
So, you were talking about how you make time for people to have intimate connection. So for our listeners, if they're looking for love, or if they have love and they're trying to make more time for an intimate connection with people or themselves, whatever, can you give our listeners 3 very actionable ways that they could make time?
Yeah. So I find that as a love and relationships expert, I really work with a lot of single women. That's been kind of my zone. And I help people create, magnetic attraction and communication, and how to get out of I'm a confidence coach, right? But confidence and love comes from knowing how to flirt, feeling good about yourself on the inside and the outside. So I do these really fun makeovers. And I think that the biggest thing, if you're single, and being single, being lonely is now considered an illness, right? There's a disease of loneliness and separation. When we fall in love, it's actually good for our brain. It releases serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine. Even in long-term relationships, the dopamine center is really activated for people that are in long-term love. So taking 15 minutes, if you're single or if you're in a loving relationship and you're not feeling romance or feeling kind of that wow, that fizz, taking 10 to 15 minutes a day, just doing it as a daily practice of it, being on Bumble and flirting online or Tinder or any of the whatever app you want to be on, or just being out in the field, right? Just flirting and complimenting somebody and starting a conversation is very healing, just creating connectedness. I have a flirt tip. Should I share it?
Oh my God, please share a flirt tip.
No fail flirt tip. Okay, I call it the magical phrase, nice tie.
Ron's tie.
So it's very uncomfortable if you're a woman walking around the world, right? To, a flirt tip, before online dating, you used to have to go into the field and just kill it, right? You just had to talk to people with, so if you just look at something a person is wearing or doing, look at something they're wearing, something they do, cute poodle, right? I love your watch. Nice shirt. Just complimenting anything that someone is wearing or doing is a very easy way to break the ice with anybody. And then it doesn't mean that you want to go back to my place, right? It's not too invasive, but it's an easy social way. And women do this all the time. They're like, oh my God, I love those shoes. Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice icebreaker, right? Just to compliment something, send someone, and then next thing you know, you're chit-chatting.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell Tim, I love your face. Always. I mean, that's like what I say to him, like, I love your face, and it always diffuses and it always makes him happy. So that's my one liner with my husband.
Yeah.
I'll share that with everybody.
It works every time. I always think that coming up with a really positive nickname, it's good management. It's good romantic management.
What else can women do to, either whether they're single or they're married or in a relationship? Like, what else can they do for a little bit more intimacy?
So, being single, married, in a relationship, those are, they're very different relationship stages. So if you're single, being online, being on dating apps is the number way to connect with people. So, what happens is there's a lot of attrition that happens. People get excited for a moment, and then they don't get the response that they want. So if you're online and you're not getting the response that you want, contact me. Go to my website. I've got free podcasts. I do seminars, so much information about because really online dating is like instant karma. You're getting a lot of feedback from the Gen Pop right out there. So those are things that you can learn how to do well. You can learn how to love well. That's the thing. If you're not in, that's why people go to therapy. That's why there are coaches, books. There are things that you can do to optimize your ability to attract and create love. But if you're in a relationship, I think that what happens is, especially young mothers go into mommy mode. Very hard, right? There is a statistic that says that men that do housework have more sex. They do.
I believe that.
Yeah. Help out.
It's a real thing.
We'll help out. We'll help you out. How about that?
I'm going to have Tim listen to this episode. Tim, you're going to be listening to this one.
It's a real thing. I have actually never been on a dating app because that's just a different world. I met my husband over 15, 16 years ago. So I think that was kind of when people were starting to get into dating apps. And it was kind of like this, like, people don't want to talk about it. Now I just love that, like, everyone's like, yeah, I met him on a dating app, or I'm on this dating app, or,
100%.
that is like the new way of, connecting, right?
It's like the virtual bar in the sky. Exactly. It's another place to bump into people.
I mean, that's great because I don't know how else you'd meet people. I mean, I don't know. I guess you got to go out to meet people, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, when you go out, you're not guaranteed that somebody's actually single. But if you go to big conferences where there's like large pools of people that you might be interested in, the thing is that just because men are talking to you, this is for like single women, or single men in a bar setting, you can't tell who's married. So I was a woman for a girlfriend of mine recently at the Breakers. And she was like, look at those dudes, they look cute. And I said, okay. And I walked up, she said hello. And then I said, okay, who's married, who's single? And then somebody was married, single, married. I was like, there you go.
No, you just get in there and you just start asking and you don't mess around. You just get right to it, right?
Well, and men, it can be very confusing because sometimes people are acting single when they're not, just because they're out of the house. They're out of the house, they're at a bar. So it's sport, which is not very fun. So you can always ask, you can say, so how long have you been married? And the guy might go, oh, for 35 years. And then you can stop moving. You could just move on, right? You do not need to waste your time with somebody who's not actually available.
Oh, that's right.
It's a really good tip for in the field flirting.
Yeah, like what about we have a lot of single listeners of this podcast, and what if people are in just a dating rut, and they don't necessarily know how to make the time, to just get themselves into the headspace to like get out there again. What advice can you give them?
Okay. So I have promotion. We're called Dating, Mating, and Manhandling, the Ornithological Guide to Men. I wrote this many years ago. This is a new edition. It's in 8 languages, and it will help you learn how to kind of put one little foot forward and restart your love life. But if you're in a dating rut, which I call people, sometimes you're on the critical list. There are dating anorexics. There are people who, have romantic OCD. They cannot focus on any one suitor. A lot of people are not great at dating. This is just the truth. Helen and Emma, Not you. You were great. You found your beloveds, right? But a lot of people are just not great at dating. And even people that are beautifully married, sometimes they weren't great at dating. They found their right person. So, if you're in a dating rut, sometimes the dating rut is people get ghosted, right? So you connect with people, they disappear. This is a really important thing to know is that, and I always tell, I'm an online dating safety expert also. I think it's really important for women to get a burner number. Do not give people your real number. Trust is earned. It's not a right, it's a privilege. If you've got a very unusual first name, create a nickname and you can do a reveal, and don't meet anyone that you don't talk to on the phone first. I was just talking to a client yesterday, new client, and she said, oh my God, I just, actually what happened was she had gone out on a date and the man had literally groped her at the Ivy. At the Ivy, under the table. It was a first date. I'm not going to name the site that you met them on, but do you speak to men on the phone before you meet them? And she's like, no, I just like to get it out of the way. Well, truthfully, you're not getting anything out of the way by meeting people. You get things out of the way by talking to people and seeing how respectful communication is, seeing if there's any kind of conversational flow. And if there's no flow, they don't have your real phone number. You've got a burner number, and you can say, oh, Bob, my soup is ready. I've got to run. I have a client, Debbie. She would set her microwave, and then she'd go, oh, my soup is ready. I've got to run.
That's funny. So Lauren, how about, women that are married and then they're in, relationships with their husbands or their partners? How do they make time to date their partner? Because I know so many people get into, you get up, you go to work on the weekend, you've got your stuff that you need to do. And so how do you make time to date your partner, your husband, your love?
This is my favorite question and one of my favorite questions. What happens when people get married is they stop putting effort into the things that made the relationship irresistible in the first place. So if you think about what it was that you did together that made you fall in love with this person to begin with and start recreating romance, right? I always say relationships are like joining a cult of two, or if you're in a throuple, 3, whatever floats your boat. I have no judgment. Coach everybody. So, if you think about the things that you did that you loved, if you think about that favorite vacation, if you go back and have romantic memories, like there was a really old-timey movie called Same Time Next Year where this couple went back to the same room, same time. I do think they were having an affair. Don't take that tip unless you want to. But this is, so kind of recreating those magic moments and remembering the things that you love to do is really important. Also, making dates. So what happens is married people sometimes just stop date night. So that's like a really tried and true, this is our date night. We're getting a sitter, getting a bikini wax, or not. And we are going to go and do something fun together and celebrate, even if it's just taking the drives, right? One of my most fun dates was, just drove up with my honey of PCH, and we ate at a little beautiful outdoor fish stand in Malibu, and it was late at night, and then we took off all our clothes and jumped in water.
You guys are fun. That's fun.
It was fun. That was fun.
Got to keep it fun.
You got to keep it fun. I loved date night. My husband and I, we were very avid date night people. It was a movie. That. It was like a walk in Manhattan. It was something we always, once a week, we committed to a date. But it wasn't even that it was just, we liked hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
Well, and I can see that in your relationship. No, I can see it. I look at photographs of you and the way that you talk. That love is real.
Yeah, Tim's like a dater too. Tim and I, on the weekends, I mean, it goes without saying. We have date night every weekend, Friday and Saturday, where we're doing something together. And so it's awesome.
And can I have one more tip? I'm going to make a shout out for sex. So one of the things that does definitely dwindle sometimes is, hormones dwindle not only for women, but for men. And so I do always encourage my older clients, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. My favorite single lady right now is 92. She's dating more than most 35-year-olds. She's got a little flock. So, but, I think that, to shout out, it's so interesting. They're doing all these, finally doing all of these studies about hormone replacement therapy. Not everybody can take it, but how good it is for cardiovascular health, cognitive function, delays Alzheimer's, and a lot of illness. But also what it does is it keeps your love alive. It can really keep love alive. So I think making time for that, that's like relationship glue.
Yeah. Beautiful. Good advice. All right. So, Lauren, tell us, what are you not making time for that you're going to commit to making time for today?
I knew you were going to ask this. I need to go through. I don't want to do it. I want to just hire somebody to do this. I need to go through all of my digital media and organize my back end. I need to go through Dropbox. I need to go through all of my social media detritus and just organize it. So I am committing right now to hiring an assistant that can suffer through. I'm going to make time to hire somebody to do the thing I don't want to personally make time for. How's that? Is that good enough?
That's fine.
I think so.
Lauren.
Everybody needs help. So I think making time to find someone to help you is good. And I know in the digital age, it can be really, really challenging to just wrap your arms around the digital environment, and it's so prevalent in business. And so yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't delete emails.
I just bought myself a new computer and I had to have Helen set it up for me because it was just so overwhelming with all the things. Technology, it's hard. You should hire someone, Lauren.
Yeah.
100%.
And I can help you. You can call me.
Thank you.
Okay. So Lauren, tell us, how can our Make Time listeners, where and how can they find you?
You're so sweet. You can find me on Instagram at Lauren Francis Love. You can find me at my website at laurenfrancis.com, and there's a bunch of free podcasts and things that you can download. I do live Zooms that then get turned into podcasts. I have the Lauren's Love RX podcast, which is also confusingly called Lauren's Lovescript. So we'll just pick a lane. You'll find me. And and email me your questions. I love answering them. All
right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Make Time podcast today. We're going to link everything in the show notes. And so, Lauren, thanks so much for coming on and talking about all things love with the Make Time listeners. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Thanks for joining us today. We hope that listening to our podcast has empowered you to make more time for yourself. So make sure to subscribe. Please leave a review and share with a friend who could use a healthy reminder on the importance of making time.
And make sure to keep tuning in as we will continue to bring on incredible guests to share their Make Time tips on our upcoming episodes. And come say hi over at Make Time Pod or visit us at maketimewellness.com.
Until next time, make time.